Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Prove Me Wrong podcast. I am Pete Lieb. I'm your host today. Once again, with me, I have guests all over the place. Christina is with me again today.
Hi.
For those of you who didn't realize it, Christina's been away for a while. She's back now. Dennis,
where was I?
Regular contributor to the podcast, is also on here today. I've had a lot of interviews lately, and I haven't had as many just us sitting here shooting the shit as much as we used to. So, that's why I'm glad that you both came in, spent some time with me.
Cool.
I'm not talking conspiracy theories or government cover-ups or Bigfoot, which are all interesting. I enjoy that for sure. Mm-hmm. I just had a question for you. I mean, and it was something I kind of had asked you a little bit earlier today about, and just wanted to get your opinion, Dennis. And I know I don't think we've talked about it. So earlier this weekend, yesterday. It was yesterday? Yesterday morning, I'm sitting here in the office in the palatial Prove Me Wrong podcast studios, working on one of the previous shows that I had just taped this week, and my phone kind of goes off, and my phone says Kobe Bryant dead at 41, and I kind of looked at the phone for a second, and then I actually picked it up and kind of scrolled back through to see, did I just see what I thought I just saw? Completely such an unexpected thing. And, at first I thought, well, it's a hoax. I went onto Facebook. You try to figure out, was it real? Because they always have those death hoaxes. Right. And actually, sure enough, there was a death hoax about Kobe Bryant a couple of years back. But no, yeah, sure enough, he was in his helicopter. 11 people, I think, overall. 9. Was it 9? Just 9?
Just 9.
Just 9. As if just 9 is... No, but 9 is better than 11. But, several children were on board.
That was not conspiracy for a 9/11 talk, by the way.
No, we were not going there with that. Not this time. No conspiracies here. Although,
yeah.
There are already conspiracy...
Are you serious?
People are saying for some reason that Kobe Bryant was murdered.
Well...
It's some conspiracy.
I guess there was some weird thing for the first 6 hours after it had happened. If you went, Alexa, how did Kobe Bryant die, or ask about it, have Alexa say it, she'd go, do you mean the assassination of Kobe Bryant? So she was saying that. So I don't know what was that was about.
The rumor was a couple years back, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
I've never heard it, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's a good... I don't know. I didn't read the article. Okay. I just saw the tagline and what it had said, and I was like, oh, that seems ridiculous, so I didn't even bother. But, yeah.
So, yeah, well, once I sussed out the fact that it had actually happened, and it was a real thing, and then I was just like, wow. Because the guy, he was 41 years old, younger than any of us. You had a young child with him, his 14-year-old daughter. 13, 14. Young daughter with him. Yeah. Listen to her over there.
You need to ask me for the dates.
A young teenager.
Listen to her over there. Busting my balls. First thing, we've been literally on here for about 3 minutes. She's knee-deep.
She did say she wanted ice cream.
For sure. So, and I just kind of thought to myself, it was shocking to me. I guess that was my point. It was shocking. It was something you're not expecting somebody that young to have that kind of thing happen to them. It's not like, if Betty White passes tonight. Oh. Poor Betty White's, she's almost 100 years old. Yeah. She's had a great run.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's not something that would really affect you. So I guess my question was, and I didn't grow up with Kobe Bryant. I grew up with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Mm-hmm. I was into NBA.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan came in a little bit. But I mean, when I first was a nut for basketball, it was Bird and Magic Johnson.
Okay.
They were it. It was the Lakers and the Celtics, and I loved it. Charles Barkley was right in there.
Maybe Dr. J on the
back end. Dr. J was on the back end. Yeah. Exactly. So that was what I was just way in. And Jordan came in, and Jordan was Jordan, and you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. But by the time Kobe came in, at that point I was like married. I was like married with kids by the time he really started. I think he was like 97 maybe or 98 when he came in. So it was right before I got married. I was an adult. I wasn't watching as much basketball. I started watching more when LeBron came, basically because he was my hometown team. That was why I watched more with that. But so sense. He didn't have as much of an effect on me as if it had been Michael Jordan killed in that. So then I just thought for a minute, what were some other instances or other events in my life short of 9/11. You know, that's the everybody says that,
Sure.
you know. But short of that, what were some other events in my life that when it happened, it was so unexpected that I was really affected by it? And just so that you, because I kind of sprung it on you, I'll let you think about it for a second. I'll tell you at least one of the ones that happened for me.
First of all, awesome question.
Oh, you like this one?
Yes.
Awesome. I wasn't sure. I can never tell with you.
Hey, man,
you're
I
on
can
the
never
phone.
tell with me. So.
Well, no,
That's a great question, and you know.
well, like I said, 9/11
go.
was obviously transcendent.
Oh gosh.
I don't think most anybody alive right now had ever seen anything like it. So that obviously is something that's above and beyond any single individual who unexpectedly passed away.
Sure.
So I don't want to say I discount it, but I'm not considering that
It's in a league of
for
its own.
this discussion. Right. There's nothing that tops that.
Right.
But for me, something that affected me just amazingly was 1991. I believe it was 1990. I was a sophomore, junior in high school, and that's when I was huge into basketball. Huge.
Okay.
I played basketball in high school. Huge into it. And Magic Johnson holds a press conference, and he looks at the camera and he tells people that he is HIV positive. And that at that time, that meant he was dead. That meant he was dead. There was you weren't surviving it back then. And I remember, I mean, I wouldn't say that I cried, but I was really close because he was a hero to me. You know,
Yeah.
he really was. The guys like that in that time frame. And when I was that age, 16, 17, I thought about, oh my God, what does this mean? This means Magic Johnson's going to die. And
Yep.
lo and behold, Magic Johnson is still here. His disease is untraceable.
That's what money will do for you.
No doubt, right?
Maybe he's got a Magic Johnson.
He obviously does, and it got him in trouble.
Sorry.
Oh God.
That's the problem. He absolutely has a Magic
Oh,
Johnson.
I'm sorry.
It got him in big trouble.
Yep.
But no, I just said that was one for me that at the time, you know, it was so unexpected. You didn't expect it. His basketball career was over. I thought his life was over.
I'm sure he did too.
I'm sure he did
quite
too.
frankly, I mean,
You want some of this?
Yeah,
Go ahead, take a drink.
it's not ice cream, but
Right?
a pinch.
Here, I got you on the. So obviously, that was one of them. The other being, if I was to say it, you know, would be the Challenger, probably the Challenger explosion, because again, it was on live television, and the whole school was sitting there.
Yep.
All of us were, and Christina and I have talked about this in the past, and she was,
that was pretty crazy for me. Even though I was in third grade. Was I in third grade? Third grade. I remember it really well because the black male astronaut, what was his name?
I don't know,
That was on there. The teacher that we were
The only one I remember is Christy McAuliffe.
because she was the
Yeah,
teacher,
And
right?
She was
Yeah.
the teacher.
Yeah.
But the teacher next door. So we would double up classrooms to go watch. So it was my teacher and then the teacher that taught in that classroom, and that was her first cousin, and she screamed like it was scary the way she screamed and just fell to her knees, and it was even more dramatic.
Yeah.
And it was just like scary. Like, why is this teacher behaving like that? But and we did comprehend what happened, but it was just so much more impactful because of her.
Well, that was an absolute worst case scenario because if she hadn't been on the space shuttle, none of us in school would have been sitting
That's
in
right.
front of the television watching.
Right.
Space shuttles go up all the damn time.
Right.
We live in Florida. There are rocket launches here every week.
Pretty much.
They don't set the kids out in front of a television and watch them all. They don't.
No.
That was really the one and only time it's ever happened. We had one of ours in there. We had a teacher on the ship.
Right.
First teacher.
Millions of kids across the country were on their knees or sitting on the floor in the gymnasium watching that together, and they all saw it at the same time. Yeah. And I didn't understand what it meant. I didn't. I mean, I was 12 or 13. I didn't. I was like, what just happened? Did that really just happen? Did I see that?
Yeah.
You know, you think that maybe you were just making believe it didn't actually happen.
Right.
So it was a perfect
Or is that
storm.
supposed to happen? I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah,
at first,
for sure.
First, you know, so kind of far away that.
Yeah.
And you were a few years younger too.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I honestly probably didn't get it at first until the teacher lost her shit, and then it was like, oh, they just
This
died.
is real. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real business.
Yeah.
And then you hear there was some studies that showed that they actually weren't dead when it blew up.
Right.
And that they
that's
fell
it.
all the way back into the ocean. And then that's actually when they passed away. And then
Said
nothing
water
plays
in their lungs.
nothing plays with your brain worse than that. I mean, that
Yeah.
messed with my, and I heard that as an adult.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I cannot imagine
You just have to hope that that wasn't true, you know?
that. Well, you have to hope that they were unconscious,
yeah.
right? They weren't actually physically
That
conscious.
impact knocked him out or something. you know,
Right.
the
Something had
impact of the
happened
explosion.
and they weren't conscious when it happened because you cannot imagine, I can't imagine that 2 minutes. You're falling for like a minute and a half. They were so high. You're falling. You have a long time to think about what's waiting for you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
And
not,
they were on fire too.
yeah, but I mean, man, I may be speaking it completely wrong, but I thought that they were saying that there was evidence that they were trying to do things to the
You may
craft
be right.
on
I
the way
don't-
down. I
I
mean,
don't remember anymore. But
they were
They're trained to.
that they
It
that some
wouldn't
of them
surprise me.
that they had put masks on. They were working it on the way down, and
Wow.
and it's just that's just the balls. I mean, just the sheer
yeah.
toughness of these people who shit's over.
It's-
And
yeah,
they're
it's
they're
all-
putting masks on, and they're still trying to work on their way down. I mean, that's amazing. So I mean, that to me was probably absolutely more impactful than what happened over the weekend. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to kind of get a
But
sense from
let
you.
let me throw in one thing about
Sure.
that one. Since I was in ninth grade, I was also watching at school.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys were in Ohio, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I was in Florida. So the weirdest part of that whole thing for me was we watched on TV, but then you could go outside
You could watch it.
and you could see it in the sky. All that stuff you guys could see on TV, you could look out and see it. And it was like, it was really like,
Could you
it-
did you hear it when it?
No.
No?
You weren't that close.
I was inside. I was watching on TV, but
Right.
but it happens, and you're like, you just like you guys said, it's like, what just happened? And then a minute or two later, everybody's like getting the sense of reality that did just happen, and then we all went outside and looked in the sky, and it's just,
Can
you
still
know,
see
It's
the
just
smoke.
raining
Yeah.
pieces. It's
Yeah.
raining pieces of,
and you
of
can
spacecraft.
see it as the part that went up, and everything that you see on TV, it was just right there, and it was, it was in the distance, but
Surreal,
it's pretty
I bet.
crazy.
I cannot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that at that moment in my life that paralleled it. I mean, and again, 9/11 was different, but I was a grown man
Right.
then. So not only was it a horrific event, but it was mixed with a child's misunderstanding, non-understanding,
Yeah.
with a child's mind,
Yeah.
and because you were in ninth grade, I was only
Yeah.
in like sixth grade.
Yeah.
So
I was in third grade.
yeah. So
I was really confused.
exactly. As a child, you just don't know what you're seeing, and so it plays with you for a while, and
Yeah.
you think, what was that? So that was kind of the question I had, was just, and then also, a lot of people pass every day. Even yesterday there was an accident on the freeway out there. A couple of people passed away.
Shooting in South Carolina bar last
Yeah.
night. 2 people got killed.
So
Last week, and 7 people in Jacksonville got shot.
Yeah.
so are we also? I mean, obviously he was a
An
personality,
icon. Yeah.
an icon, a public figure. So there's going to be some level of additional shock, additional angst, additional
Sure.
reaction. But do we put too much reaction on that? And also we're not, because we don't think twice when people have accidents on the freeway.
Well, the other caveat to Kobe was he had all of those problems with the allegations of
Yeah.
rape. So I was, fortunately, I want to say that, and I hope people understand when I'm saying this, that Kobe was an amazing basketball player. I don't know that much about the guy, but I remember hearing about that. So
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, like, on my Facebook wall, there'd be a lot of hatred because of that. But I saw nothing, which
is great.
good job, people.
I'm going to tell you why. Because he died with his daughter. And
You think so?
daughter and 2 other children on there, and I think people do have some sense of, let's not muddy this up because there were children
that's
are
a
involved.
good thing. Whatever the reason, I haven't seen it. I know
Because my sister actually sent me a text about. She's like, I can't believe that nobody's saying anything about raping that girl and blah
That was
blah,
so
blah.
long ago.
Yeah, it was so long ago.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I just can't believe nobody's brought it. I said, because he died with his child. And she's like, that makes sense. Yeah. I wouldn't say anything either now.
You are. I mean, you
And his wife also forgave him.
you
they
have
didn't
to be a
talk about
pretty
it.
cynical mother effer to be bringing that up. You know what I mean? If that's the thing you're focusing on, 16 years later, when there was a helicopter full of children and people who were just going to a basketball camp.
Yeah.
If
to-
that's the thing
to
that you're
teach
pointing your
kids and-
finger
yeah.
at,
But you got to admit, it's pretty hostile
no doubt.
out there on the
Yeah, it is. You're
It
right.
just
and
is.
to
And
not see anything is crazy.
I was very happy about that. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe people are
yeah.
thinking.
And they should. If his
Correctly.
immediate family forgave him and let it go, why shouldn't we?
How much different is he than
Joe Blow, who does it
80,
down the street.
90% of
Yeah.
other people in your office who do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I
people
don't
make
know.
mistakes. People are human. They do things that are human things.
Yep.
And if
As far as we know, he never did it again.
they can reconcile and he moves on and he's by all accounts a good father and he's worked himself into a good man and let it be that.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean the internet is a shitty place.
It is,
for
man.
in most cases.
Brutal.
And the first thing they'll do is they'll just trash your personality,
Your everything,
They'll trash
everything
your
you're about.
history. They'll pull up a tweet that you had from 2007,
Yep.
where you might have said something that they can now interpret as being homophobic
Yeah,
or
or
whatever.
it might just be a little section of something you said in a more grand scheme, and it's like, oh, well, we'll just take this little
Yep.
part
Read it out
of
of
it and-
context.
yeah, exactly. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I've said it 100 times. The memes are the best part of the internet, and then everything else is the worst.
yeah,
If it's not a meme, if it's not about cats or about Baby Yoda,
yeah.
I don't necessarily want to hear it. Because it's either somebody trashing somebody because of who they voted for, or it's somebody taking a thing that's just a tragedy, an unexpected thing, and saying, "Oh well, I don't care about that guy. I don't care if that guy lives or dies because he did X.
Right.
He wasn't faithful to his wife 20 years ago." That's just man, you live in a glass house there.
Well, and also, it's a different world. It's a different world for celebrities.
Absolutely.
You can't even comprehend what that's like to have women throwing themselves at you. Jason, or whoever the hell's making all these
Right, just
comments.
random guy. Yeah.
Yeah, random ugly dude.
There's a bunch of Jasons out there. What?
What?
Yeah, right.
Why are you bringing me up?
You're a bitch.
Chad,
I got to find out how many Jason subscribers
right?
we have.
Sorry, what if I throw us Chad?
Christina's a bitch.
Oh, there's definitely no Chads out there.
Well, no, but Chad is like the name now that they use.
Chad's always the name for
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's the name they use now for
the jerk.
the jerk, Chad.
He's always the bad guy.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, like seriously, and I think there are definitely relaxed morals in Hollywood that you don't see or not among the normal people.
Well, my first thing was when I heard about it, I didn't see it. Somebody told me about it. So once I got verification, I think my wife texted me and said, "Oh, it's on the news." I wasn't with her, and she was like, "Yeah, it happened." And I'm thinking, did he take his family out for a tour? A helicopter tour, but it turns out that's way the
just
guy
he
travels.
Yeah. And so statistically,
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's unfortunate, but man, it's unfortunate.
well, they took a
Anyway,
risk.
but
I mean, the weather was bad. And
Yeah.
the
Oh,
fog
was it?
The
I
fog
saw-
was really bad, and it was kind of a fly at your own risk type
Situation.
thing.
Yeah,
My
'cause-
son said, I don't know if you guys can. He said there was video of it.
yeah, there is.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm like,
I'm sure there's video of everything. Somebody's always. You can't get away from
there's
video
after
nowadays.
video. You mean he has during?
Somebody
during
has-
video?
I think he said that you can watch the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, man,
I saw
that's
lots of after, like the crash, the
Yeah.
burning, the.
it's craziness.
I don't necessarily want to see that. I don't need to see
No,
it
no.
personally. It's kind of like again those 9/11 like that documentary,
Yeah,
that
where
9/11
the
documentary,
two
where those
guys
guys just happened to be filming that
at
day.
that fire station,
And it went from a fire station movie to a 9/11 movie, and you'd be in that building and you'd hear big thumps, and those were bodies hitting the overhang.
Yep.
I could have done without that.
Yep.
You know, unfortunately, it tells you, it brings in the realities. This was the
history,
realities of what was happening there.
People were jumping.
And, you know,
Yeah,
that was the better
decision.
yes.
Of the two. It's like
Then burning alive.
I'm 110 stories up. Burn alive or just jump now. Those are decisions I hope I never have to make.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, and that's how some people on the ground died.
Yes.
They got hit by bodies.
The one
The priest.
the priest that was there in that movie, he died because he got hit by a body.
That's crazy.
It fell on him. I mean, how random is that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's You're not going to find that in odds.
No.
In Las Vegas odds or anything.
So that's kind of where the genesis of the conversation was just, was there something else other than, and then we talked about the Challenger. Mm-hmm. Was there something else when you were growing up, or something else that's happened to you where it doesn't have to be, I guess, a celebrity? Because I think, again, we put a lot of
weight
and attention, sometimes warranted, sometimes not,
said to me
on celebrities.
Earlier, with celebrities, and there is no celebrity death that is gonna affect me. It's not gonna affect my day to day. I'm sorry, there's just not. Possibly the president. If the president was assassinated, yes, that would. But there is no celebrity. It may surprise me that they've died, but it's not going to affect my day to day. But if you tell me the house down the street caught on fire and, you know, the family all burned to death, that I'm gonna just struggle with that. So
even in this case, when children were involved,
yes, and
the children aren't celebrities,
right? They're not, and I do feel for the parent and stuff, and I have thought about that and stuff, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. I guess it has to be close to home for me.
Yeah, you can't miss something that you don't know.
Right.
I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
put words in your mouth.
No, that is it. Yeah.
It's like you feel, and you're like, wow, that's
I have empathy,
that's a terrible tragedy, but
I can't.
You know, unfortunately, to your point earlier, you said, you know, people died in a car accident right here. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is it that they're less important than just because the guy was a basketball legend, you know? Well, maybe the people that were in the car were legendary at something else, you know? Who knows?
Right.
You know, we just don't know.
Well, there's always the personal impact, you know.
Sure.
Whoever's in that car has family, and every one of those people have been impacted. I think the difference is, you know, we all know those people who, for whatever reason, they are just enamored with some of the celebrities. You know, they are beyond just regular people. They are, you know, and we've seen people who just lose their mind because they see, you know, Joey Fatone, you know, walking through an airport. Yeah. You know, somebody
starstruck, man.
Seriously, it's like, what? The guy's just traveling from one place to another,
and he's just a guy.
But there are some people who they internalize these things, and we're in a point in history now where they're all on Facebook, they're all on Instagram, they're all showing you their life every day. They're showing you where they vacation, they're showing you what they had for breakfast. So we all know you. We know you. Yeah. We know everything about you. So we can also comment on your Facebook pages and on your Instagram pages and tell you what we think of the choices you're making. And, you know, we can talk about, you know, like the Chrissy Teigen, who just tries to make a joke about her mom losing those apple pod ears.
No, I didn't even hear this.
Well,
what happened?
Chrissy Teigen, you know, she's married to John Legend.
Yeah. I know who she is.
Yeah,
I don't know the.
And she was making fun of her mom because her mom loses her.
And also her mom in her own right is rich.
Yeah, I guess her mom is a successful woman.
Yeah,
okay.
She's like a celebrity chef in her country.
So her mom loses her those apple pod things, those little. I think they're
AirPods.
weird as hell looking to me. I would never have them.
I have some.
But there you go. But she loses them all the time.
They're great, and when you're laying in bed and you don't have the wires hanging all off you, it's kind of cool.
Well, there you go. Endorsement.
Yeah.
We're taking sponsorships for Apple Pods.
Come on.
Anybody who's interested.
Yeah.
But no, so she loses them, and her sister and her daughter was just making fun of her for losing them. Oh, she treated them like they're disposable, and you're laughing. And she was catching all kinds of shit because, do you know how much food you can buy for homeless people for that $150? And blah, blah, blah. and shaming Chrissy Teigen for making a joke about her mom treating these as disposable to the point where she felt she had to apologize.
Yeah.
She issued an
Publicly.
apology for
Are
that
you
shit.
kidding?
Don't bend to that
who?
ridiculousness. Don't bend
To
to
all
that
the
shit.
people talking shit.
Yeah.
Do not bend to that. Do
They're
not-
actually, her and John Legend are very, what's the word, philanthropic? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
They're into philanthropy?
They give away a lot.
Philanthropists.
But anyway, and they were, that's their money. Why do you get to dictate how they spend it?
How does anybody? Why do you feel like you are so important that you can tell somebody else what to do with their life?
Yeah.
Because
I
it
have a
works,
hard
because
time with
she
that.
apologized, so it
I
obviously
cannot believe
works.
it. I railed. How long did I rail?
You railed a long
I
time.
railed for 15 minutes. I was railing because I just couldn't. Nothing burns my ass as much as when somebody who is on the other side of a television screen or other side of a world, other side of the computer,
Keyboard
who
warriors.
thinks they can just say, "You're a dumbass. What you know what people you can feed for $150?" Okay.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson says, baby, start with the man in the mirror. Don't come talking shit to me. You take care of your own house first. These people, they never understand scale, and
Right.
and it's all relative. And
Well, she just took heat that her baby was in a Gucci tracksuit when she did, like, how moms do their 20 months, what they like, how big they are now,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And she just had to catch heat because that baby was in a Gucci tracksuit. Why does a 20-month-old need a Gucci tracksuit? Do you know what you can provide people with? Oh my God. She can't say anything or post anything. So finally she just said, or somebody said, why does a 20-month-old need a Gucci tracksuit? And she said, I think she put, because, bitch. And that was her answer. She's done with it.
well, see that's where it ends up, right? You finally push somebody, and they try to be nice about it. And it's like, well, you know what? Yeah, maybe I was insensitive saying that. And then you give them that crumb,
Yep.
and now they want the whole fucking cake.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna keep needling at you until you're finally like, the hell with you. What are you doing?
Because I think at the core of life, what does anybody really need? I think we've talked about this
Yeah.
before.
What do you really need?
Yeah.
I have more. I think we all have more than we need. But what are you supposed to do? Just not have anything? Just live in a teepee with a, I don't know.
But then you can't be a keyboard warrior because you won't be able to
right.
afford it.
Yeah. Well, that would have been a great response. You're like, what are you doing with a keyboard, you jackass?
So I think you have to be incredibly hateful. One hateful, and you just hate yourself. If all you do all day is sit there and think of shitty things to write to celebrities, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You're not upset with them. You're upset with you. And I wish I could afford $150 AirPods, so I'm going to rail on you for losing yours because I can't afford them.
Or you could go out.
Why don't you just get off your ass and go
Yeah.
find them?
Well, yeah, exactly. Her mom's dropping them all over the damn place.
Go get yourself a
Right?
set.
Just
What's
go-
your problem?
Go follow her around.
You know where she is. You're following her every move.
Yeah,
Good
she's
God.
She's pretty well known. She's
Yeah.
pretty famous. Just walk behind her and take them when she drops them.
You already said she's into philanthropy. Maybe she'd give you a set. She's
Probably.
probably a nice lady. Be like, I don't know.
Yeah, people are just.
I know it's weird.
It is.
So then you get those same people that like you said, I'm expecting them to come in and again privately. We might have had a here or there. Well, why aren't they mentioning this or why aren't they mentioning that? How about because it's none of your damn business? How about just this happened. It was a terrible thing. It was something that we would hope would never happen to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then why are you opening the closets? Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be what it was.
And they have, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, like I told my sister.
I'm sure it's out there, but it's just not on my personal, information feed.
Or somebody
whatever.
ends up making jokes about it.
But
it was like 2 days after the Challenger, and they're talking and they're having Challenger
Yeah, they
jokes.
need another
yeah.
7 astronauts,
Or-
that type of stuff.
or how many-
I
how
cut
many-
you off. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
How many astronauts can you fit in a Chevrolet or something? And it was like 11. 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 7 in the ashtray.
Yep.
Something ridiculous like that. I mean, just
Yep.
horrible. It was like 3 days later.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, seriously.
Well, that's what I told my sister. I said, no worries. I said, because I said, they'll talk about it. No worries. Give it 6 months when his documentary comes out. Because that's what they do.
Yeah. Well, there's all types doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody's trying to think of ways to gain exposure for themselves, by, like you said,
by putting their
treading on
footprints on the back of somebody else.
Yep, exactly.
That's that upsets me that you don't have enough.
I just hope for as many bad there is good. That's
As,
my only hope.
as musicians, I mean, you see that all the time. Oh, this guy's not this. I'm better than this guy. It's like, no, you're different.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the world is different. I mean, you can say better. What does that mean?
So has there been something for you other than that, something like that that hit you, that affected you?
Oh gosh.
In the past? And I say that to you because I know Christina. She may not say she was affected. It didn't affect her day to day, but I remember her telling me how sad she was or upset she was when George Harrison passed, and that wasn't something that was
closer to you.
Well, because actually I didn't even know that he had brain cancer.
Right.
So I didn't.
So it was surprising to you.
So it was surprising, yeah. Had I known, I'd been like, well, yeah, he finally passed. He had brain cancer.
Right. So that's kind of the point. Was
But it didn't affect my day to day.
I'm not talking about your day to day. I still went to work today. I still went to work. I still did everything I normally do. It doesn't mean that didn't shock me and didn't affect you.
Well, a lot of celebrity deaths when they happen young are like that. It's a surprise. It's a shock.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're in the public eye.
I guess I'm saying
know
it's
what
any that were impactful for you. So not just talking about.
Like, what do you mean?
Like
what
Kobe
is your
Bryant
impact?
Kobe Bryant wasn't impactful for you because you weren't really a basketball fan. Was there some actress or something like that happened? That's what I'm saying. Someone to you that you felt was.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't it doesn't work like that
Now
for
we're
me,
getting
celebrities.
somewhere.
I'm not a hero worshiper in any way, shape, or form. I feel more for them on a family level. Like I feel really bad for Vanessa, his wife.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's perfect though. You still have that.
Yes, I have empathy,
Yeah,
but I
good.
don't have. But I'm not.
That's what we're talking about.
But it doesn't impact me. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I go and hug my kids a little bit harder." It didn't make me go hug my kids a little bit harder. That's the way he traveled. Statistically, it was probably going to happen. He probably shouldn't have left. Knowing that the police and the fire department had grounded their helicopters, why did you get in that with 3 children?
Actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was some weather.
Yeah.
There was definitely some weather.
Definitely
And granted, he had a good pilot who was cleared to fly in that kind of weather. But so did the police, and so did the fire department, and they still chose not to. And you did it just to fly to a game or just a practice
I think it was just
or whatever.
practice.
And I don't know.
But that's the way you traveled.
I understand that's the way
Again,
he traveled.
so if that's the way you travel.
And because it was because of LA traffic, only 2 hours in LA traffic and stuff. And so he, unfortunately, it's a terrible thing to say, but paid the price for convenience. Literally. I mean, he was rich and was able to do that all the time.
We all do things.
And we do.
Every
You're
day.
Right. We do. We don't deserve to die. I'm not
Right.
saying that. But like I'm saying, he did that so much that statistically something was bound to happen.
Well, and then when something does happen when you're in an aircraft, the consequences are usually a little bit more than if you're just in a car.
Right.
Yes.
You're in a car and you
And
slide
hell,
off the road at 30 miles an hour and you hit a light pole. It may not necessarily kill you.
Right.
Your car will be maybe totaled, but if you're in an aircraft and you
I'm not
crash.
trying to hate at all. I'm just saying.
No, I get it.
that-
That's okay. You're kind of hating. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I know. No, it does sound
I'm
like that,
just
but
kidding.
It doesn't
I'm
sound like you hate. It
not.
just sounds like you just don't have a whole lot of emotion or feeling.
I'm a cold heart.
Cold.
bitch.
Well, some
Cold
things that
woman.
came to my mind, and I'm gonna
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with kind of down your path, and it's like it doesn't take over my being, but
Right.
Neil Peart from Rush dying the other day. I was like, sucks. I think the guy was super. He was the Kobe Bryant of drums, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even
And it did, and it sucked. You're like,
Yeah,
damn,
it's-
that sucks.
yeah.
And that's really all I was trying to
But
say
it's like
was,
you can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
of course not.
But I wish now I could
Yeah.
get on a more. I have in my mind all these celebrities like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Not that he was my favorite, but it was a helicopter. Same.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain, same. That was a shocker, even though I
Absolutely.
wasn't a super fan. But yeah,
I
definitely
wasn't either,
shocking.
but it was.
Yeah,
But I knew
When
friends.
Prince died, I was like, what?
Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
I was bummed. Michael Jackson, because that was when he was going to go on tour. I was going to see him because that was the first time I was going to be able to see him. I told P, I said, we are getting tickets, and then he dies. Up and dies before the
When
tour
Glenn
started.
Fry passed, I was
Yes.
very upset
Yeah.
about that.
I was too, because I
So
was.
there are plenty of times when things happen unexpectedly, and that's kind of, again, that was the point of the discussion was,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, most
those people
celebrities
who
take me by.
How about
surprise.
was it Paul Walker, the car crash?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. I mean, not they're all bad when they're all end up the same way, but whew, that was.
Yeah, and the younger they are, the more you're like, whoa.
And the River Phoenix
Yep.
outside the Viper Room.
Yep.
That was many years ago, but that was
Actually,
weird.
that probably did affect me more than anything because I was like, I had just signed my DARE thing, and I was like, learning that drugs were bad for you, and then like there was video of like, I mean, foaming at the mouth. It was all scary, and I was like, whoa. So
Chris Farley.
yeah.
That one hit me. I love Chris Farley. I thought he was great.
Well, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those people who are in the prime of their career, and
Heath Ledger. That was kind of off the wall
they're
too.
the prime of their career. They're right. You are, and to me, it's like, wow, that's terrible. Yes, but it's also thinking, what more could they have done?
Right.
What more would have happened? Where else could they have gone? And now that's over.
Yeah.
And
Yes, that's what it is. I think it's the finality
that's
of
right.
it.
So that's what affects me
Especially if
more.
they're already in the
But-
process of being creative.
Because we've had
Like,
that discussion.
Kobe's career was done.
Maybe call it predestination. Maybe they did what they
Yeah.
needed to do,
That was it.
and I don't mean, however you want to take that.
Right.
But maybe they did,
And that was
and
all they were supposed to do.
they did what they needed, and they left their impact. Who's to say? Like everybody's like, oh, I don't know what Jimi Hendrix would have. Maybe he would have retired in 2 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know. You know?
That's another road to kind of go down, would be to say just that. What additional impact would Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Kurt Cobain, Len Bias. Len Bias was another one.
He had a heart problem, right?
Well,
right on the court.
It
right?
was no. Len
Cocaine?
Bias. It was a cocaine overdose.
Okay. I'm thinking of a different
He
guy.
got drafted by the Celtics, and again, I was around the same age. I was probably 13,
Mm-hmm.
and amazing basketball player, had just got drafted. Was about to start his life, start his career. OD'd, or he died from an overdose in some way. It was a cocaine, I believe it was, and then it was just gone. And he was the guy. It was like the Kobe of the day.
Right.
When you had to go to college. So he was coming out of college, and then before he ever played a minute, died from an overdose. And it's just like,
Did it not happen on the basketball court?
no,
No?
I don't. You're thinking of Hank Gathers,
Hank Gather. Okay, thank you.
not Len Bias. Yeah, Hank Gathers died on the basketball.
But he just
court.
had a heart problem. I don't want to say
Yeah,
that
he had
was
an undiagnosed
Yeah, yeah,
heart
okay.
condition. Yeah. So, but that happens, and that's just what
I think
Yeah.
that too, that surprise comes from you think that you get all worked up. It's like when you get all worked up, like, oh, we're gonna go on this vacation or whatever, and then the hurricane hits and you can't go on your vacation. That's kind of like the same feeling because you don't really know these people, but through media and all this stuff, you get all worked up for this exciting thing that's going to happen, and then something like that, like they OD or whatever, and then it just doesn't happen. So I don't think you can I don't know. I feel like you're over there trying to compare these things to people you know.
I'm not. I'm trying to compare those things to a lot of people live their lives through their heroes.
You're
to some extent.
You're
Through-
talking to the wrong person.
Through people that are doing things that they wish they could do. So a lot of people are living their lives through the exploits or the accomplishments
Right.
of Kobe or
Vicariously.
Michael
Is that the
Jordan
right word?
Okay.
or Kurt Cobain
Right.
or Len Bias or any of these people, Jimi Hendrix. That's what we aspire to be.
But wouldn't that
and
have
so
been
you're
more
living your
true?
life through
I
that.
don't know about for you. I can only speak for myself, but I think that would be more true for me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't do that
Yeah.
anymore.
I mean, it may not have the same impact now.
Right.
And that's what I was kind of asking you, was there something, and the things I talked about when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson was a hero at the
Yeah.
time. I didn't realize he had a Magic Johnson in every sense of the word. Magic Johnson was my hero.
Yeah.
And so I was emulating what he was at that point. And that's what kind of where I was like, boy, I want to get to those heights. And then all of a sudden you see that guy who you were trying to pattern yourself
And
after.
he's human.
And he's human, and he has HIV, and
Right.
he's going to die. And so now you're like, whoa, was everything that you were patterning this young piece of your life over?
No, you're closer to it, so I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to just run these two guys, probably same time frame. Freddie Mercury, Magic Johnson, both HIV. Did they just catch Magic's earlier? Is that what happened? Is that why they were able to?
What? Freddie died in
91.
91. Was it
I
91? I think it was 93. But either way, it was right on that same time.
It was somewhere in there.
But he was he was much earlier, right? He'd had it. I think he got diagnosed in the early 80s.
Yeah, he'd been hiding it for a while. Well, he was not hiding it, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he was diagnosed
he
10
wasn't
years
telling the
before
public.
Magic Johnson.
How did they diagnose it? I thought they didn't even know about it until didn't know.
They knew about it.
What it was like.
I think they knew about it in the 70s.
70s,
They
yeah.
knew about it in the 70s.
But they didn't call it anything like in the media until later, right?
But
Is
it
that what
started
it was?
hitting hard in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
And also,
There you go. Boom, you just hit it.
Yeah.
AIDS.
Yeah.
You remember, you were probably too young, but I was maybe early teens. That scared the crap out of me,
Yes.
man. I was
Absolutely.
I literally thought,
Because you were right at the moment where you are starting your sexual career. Let's put it that way. You are starting, you are like, hey, the braces came off. The hair looks a little bit better now. My face cleared up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. Oh, shit. What do you mean I could die from this?
I never got the call out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I thought the worst thing that could happen is,
she got pregnant.
she gets pregnant. You mean I could die?
Right.
You kidding me? My health teacher always told us that a little penicillin will knock her out of the box. He literally said those exact words. Little penicillin knocks her right out of the box. He wasn't talking about AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get to that point where you're like, can I kiss this girl? Can I hold her
Exactly.
hand?
Yeah.
What can I do? And
then your teenage mind took over and said, whatever.
I don't care. I'm feeling something downstairs.
I'm taking my chances.
Yeah, my basement's flooded. Anyway,
It's overflowing.
but to have to say that because then you don't remember this, but they let Magic Johnson play in the All-Star game that year, and when he walked onto the court, he kissed I think it was Isaiah Thomas. He and Isaiah Thomas kissed each other on the cheek, and I thought, holy shit, Isaiah Thomas is going to get AIDS. Because again, you didn't know,
Right.
Yeah.
And so to me, if you had contact at all, you didn't know if you get it from his sweat. You didn't know if you were just rubbing bodies against him. You're blocking him out in the game. Are you going to get AIDS? Is this going to happen to you? You just didn't know it, and so it was.
Chick Hearn was going crazy. No one's even guarding Magic. He's
Right.
just scoring at will.
He's got 63 points in this All-Star
in the
game.
first 10 minutes.
But that actually did a lot. I think that was one of the more impactful things because it showed that
Anybody could get it.
Showed that anybody can get it. But I'm also saying
Not gay.
right.
Not a gay man.
heterosexual.
He was not a gay man.
Yep.
And your Freddie Mercury question might have been due to the fact different countries.
Could be.
He lived in the UK, and maybe somebody here in the US offered something that wasn't available there.
I don't know. Isn't the UK usually ahead of us?
Not
I don't know.
always.
I don't know.
Depends who you pay. You never know.
But he had the means. I mean, that's kind of what my
Yeah, they
parallel
both had
was.
the means.
It was like it wouldn't have been a big deal for him to get a flight over here if
But
it was probably timing. Though, I
also-
think maybe they caught him.
Also, there could have been an agenda behind the fact that Magic being a hetero and that being a gay disease, and Freddie was obviously gay, and we gotta make a example out of this. So let's help the best we can.
Yeah.
It could be
Because they were trying to change it to let everybody know you just wasn't just a gay man's disease. So,
I just think that they had the ability a lot earlier than they're telling us to
Do something about it.
treat it, to cure it. I think they could probably cure it now if they wanted to.
They do.
But there's no
They
money
can.
in the cure.
Right.
There's only money in the treatment. So they'll
the treatment pretty much is the cure. I mean, they have figured out exactly what you can take, so it's not even detectable in your body. But you do have
But
to
it's still
stay
there.
You have to stay on
but
the
you
meds,
have to
yeah.
maintain it. You have
Yeah.
to continue to treat it. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a cure.
Right,
But
it's
they
not
have
a
a
cure.
cure.
It's
I'm
a
telling you, they have a
maintenance.
cure.
I just wonder though. I mean, I'm opening up a big can of worms here, but who could actually afford the treatment? What the treatment probably cost?
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Magic Johnson can afford it. There's plenty of people,
Oh, there are.
You
But
know,
the
top-
common.
common person can't. No, the common person can't. They can't afford to. He's cured himself. Magic Johnson is cured. It is completely
It's gone.
undetectable in
Really?
his body.
Okay, so
He is cured. It is undetectable.
But is he on daily maintenance? You don't.
I don't know.
that.
I don't know what his I don't know what his daily
you don't
thing
know
is.
what he is.
I'm just telling you that right now it is undetectable in his
Yeah,
blood.
that
to me
happens
means
to a
he's
lot of
cured.
people.
If
Yeah.
they can't find it, you can suppress it and you can treat it. It's still there. His is not even there. So, I
Maybe they
mean,
had it wrong.
but the average person, no, the average person is just going to take their cocktail and live with it. But
I don't know about you guys, but I don't really hear about it anymore.
Well, because people
It's just-
don't die anymore.
nobody dies.
They have a magic cocktail that'll keep.
yeah, nobody dies
Oh,
anymore.
once too many children in Africa started dying, they had to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you that once you hear about 30,000 kids dying, because then they have no parents, and the 8-year-olds are raising the other 3, and well, then somebody has to do something.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So that's like I said, I thought about that yesterday.
No, that's a great.
When it was just going to come to me, and do we put too much emphasis on the celebrity when there's people dying every day in all lines of all phases of the world and of life.
See, I think we need to talk to somebody who actually feels like that. I've never felt like that. I have never in my life felt like, oh my God, there's like I've never been starstruck. I've never been.
Have you ever been faced with it though, for real? I mean.
Yeah, I've met celebrities,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't.
Okay.
I just don't.
I was just curious.
I don't care. No, my sister drags me around to meet all kinds of. She's like that. That's who we need to be talking to. Somebody
It's
who
definitely an interesting phenomena.
because
That-
our
that
kids aren't like that either.
Well, because they get it from us.
I'm not either, but I gotta say, the few times I've met people that I admire,
It never works out.
It's not exactly what you think it's going to be.
It's not. Mm-mm.
A lot
in
of
my people
case,
say that.
Yeah, usually
A lot of people say don't meet your heroes.
literally they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because they're never going to live up to what you have built them to be.
Right.
Right.
Because they got to meet 100 people. It's not that they're being jerks. It's just like you're just another person in line waiting for a selfie with them or an autograph, whatever it
That's
is.
how I feel like too, and I feel like don't you get that? Like when people get all upset about it, I'm like, how can you possibly be upset about this? That's a real person. Do you want to stand there for 7 hours and take selfies and sign photographs?
But on the flip of that,
But then on the flip of that, you
That's-
signed up to do that.
yeah.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying like they come. It's not that the person was a jerk or the person was, it just wasn't what they wanted
Yeah.
them to be like super over the top.
Right,
wanted
they just
to be
had
hugging
this
them
much time for you, and you
Yeah.
wanted this much,
Right,
or whatever.
exactly. Yeah, that I only say that because I've been to a supernatural convention, and I feel like that's how a lot of those women felt. And they come out.
Oh,
and
imagine
they
right
only
now.
had just a few minutes, and they paid like $200 to get
Easy.
like a picture,
Just for the picture.
Yeah.
They paid $2,000 for the hug.
right, or whatever,
Yeah.
and it just. And
I mean, that's a racket. I got to get involved in that. I got to get to that point where people are paying me $2,000 to hug me. Are you fucking kidding me? That's incredible.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
a racket I have to be involved in.
I couldn't do it. I was.
Well, okay, that was going to be my question. If all of a sudden you have fame bestowed
I
upon
would
you,
hate it.
okay.
I tell him that all the time.
But my question would be whether love it, hate it or not, you have it. It's there.
okay.
How do you deal with, let's just say you're in an airport and you're trying to get, you have plenty of time. You're not rushed for time. And people want selfies. They want autographs. I mean, where do you think you would draw the line? I mean, obviously,
I know me.
you
as a
guys are both
person.
nice people. I know you.
Yeah. I know myself as a person, and I would do it till I dropped, unfortunately, and I would be a miserable fucking person for it. I would be the happiest motherfucker. Your picture would be great. I'd hug you. It'd be all grand, and I'd get on that plane, and I'd hate everything about myself.
Why would you hate yourself for it though?
Because it's not me, and I did it because, one, I get paid for it, and two, like
So you're fulfilling your
I'm
obligation.
just not going to be that person because I've been in situations where I've seen people be so disappointed by the way they're, and I wouldn't want to.
you can't make everybody happy.
Yeah,
that's for
I
sure.
wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, there are celebs out there that they just won't do it.
Yeah, it's there's.
They'll shake your hand, maybe, but they won't do the selfies. They won't do the.
And then they're
the
like, oh, they're bitches.
Autographs. I mean,
Terrible
because
people.
some people, man,
And
you
I
just
hate when
can't. You
people
can't-
roll up while people are eating. That is
or they're with their families, or whatever, whatever the
that
case.
is my pet peeve when I see people's celebrity pictures and they're clearly at dinner.
Yeah, but okay. I'll throw this one back at you. Would you rather him just walk up to you and say, "Hey, or sit there and stare at you for 45 minutes while you're trying to finish your meal? Which is better?"
Sit there and stare at me.
Really?
Yes, because I can ignore
I'd
that.
just be like, "Just come here, man. Whatever. Let's."
Nope, I can ignore that. I can because a lot of time they put these celebs in back of restaurants or in these booths that or whatever, and if somebody happens.
Yeah, but
to
aren't you
catch
kind
it,
of feeding into that whole thing if you do things like that almost?
Well, but I mean, the restaurants do it for safety reasons.
No, yeah,
I think.
I get you.
Yeah.
How about you, Pete?
He's already has a little taste of that.
No, that's great.
No,
That's-
not really. No, but it's hard to say because it depends on what you're famous for. If you're just
True.
famous because you're a baseball player and you just like playing baseball, and the fame came from being good, that's one thing. If I'm famous because I am on a stage or I'm an actor or
Isn't that kind of all the same thing, though?
no,
No?
no. You play baseball if you played it in the backyard. You don't sit there and actors to me or musicians to me. They are there for the people. They're there to entertain
wouldn't
the
be
people.
famous
The
without
baseball
the people.
player, to me, the baseball player, the football player, they were playing that anyway. They're just really good at it, and so they get paid to do it. And it just so happens there are people there, and people want to watch. I think that they're different. Those,
Yeah, but they still get off on it the same way. I believe
they get
that.
off on the cheers, yeah.
Yeah,
but
man, I
they
don't-
would be playing football no matter what.
I'd still play guitar no matter what. I don't.
Well,
See?
I'm not getting your logic on this one.
I look at it as
The actor, I guess you're probably not gonna sit there and
Yeah.
act for yourself. I guess
I look at it as the baseball player was playing baseball on a team, and somebody said, "Hey, you're really good at this. Come play on this team, and I'll pay you to do it." And I guess you could say, "Hey, well, you're a really good guitar player. Why don't you come? I'll pay you to come do it."
Same.
But most of those guys are hired guns, and
Ooh.
they don't get caught in the airport.
Yeah, let me do that. Would you rather be paid extremely well to just be like a studio musician for so you're on all kinds of everybody's albums playing because you're amazing,
You're Dwayne Allman.
This one's easy. I know it's coming. Go ahead.
or you're the famous. You still are amazing at the guitar, but you're front and center.
Nope. I'll take the studio musician any day.
Exactly.
Any day.
I think we need different people up in here. We're all too alike.
No, I don't. I think minor celebrity where you get it once in a while,
Yeah.
it would be special. But man, you think of a person like Michael Jackson or Prince, and you could go with any famous person, and they just can't even leave their house.
Right.
I mean,
and
it's
look
like,
what it does to them. They become
and you
a
hear about
hermit.
people like Taylor Swift, love her, hate her, whatever. She's just known for just waiting. She'll stay to the last person,
Yep.
no matter if it's 7 hours. She'll sit there and sign and hug,
Yep,
and
she will.
she's supposedly a great person, and I hats off to her for that.
Yeah.
Because again, you have to, and to me, the part of her whole thing is that interaction with the crowd. The entertainer, and I look at the athlete and the entertainer differently. I do.
That's fine.
I know that there's an entertainment component to athletics, but the entertainer is an entertainer. I'm there to entertain you. I'm there to make you happy. I don't know. I'd look at it differently. I guess you could say it both ways. You could say that the football player is there
But a
to
musician-
catch the ball, but
there's some. Well, there is.
but
There's
you don't
some
even
who
know
take the game
most football
seriously.
players. If you had their helmet off, you wouldn't even know who they are.
But
Right.
Pete, you didn't start singing to be an entertainer. You sang because you liked singing, or you started playing drums because you liked playing drums. It wasn't.
Yeah,
I mean, same as an
No,
athlete,
I mean,
kind of same thing.
I sang at home.
You go out and you
regardless.
shoot baskets in the backyard, and
But I
He's
would
like,
be
"Damn,
lying to
I'm
you.
good at this."
I'd be lying to you if I'd said to you that it didn't matter to me that people thought I was good. I would be lying to you if I said I'd be singing no matter what. It doesn't matter to me. No, if I go out there, I want everybody who listens to think I'm the best damn singer they've ever heard. You know what I mean?
but
I want them
what
to
does
think
that? I don't think one has to do with
So I'm
the
just
other
saying.
in my mind.
So I'm just saying it's not just a hobby. It's not just something I would just do no matter what. I'm going to do it if I'm out there in front of people. I sing harder than if I'm at home
Well, of
sitting
course.
playing on a guitar.
I think that's human nature. You don't want people to think you suck. That's
Right.
not my point.
Right.
Sorry.
My point is, That's to be like an athlete going, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to hit the ball.
I'm not going to play hard today.
Screw it.
I'm going to phone that in. But I would play hard no matter where I was. That's the point.
Yeah,
Even if I was in the
absolutely.
backyard, I would try my absolute hardest.
Yeah.
I guess I just
But that's,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
do
that's
no matter what you do.
repetitions are just
Yeah.
repetitions. I think. I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Okay, we'll
But,
do it.
but
Let's
having
look
said
at it
that-
this way, real quick. Let me get this.
having said that, I would never tell somebody no. I would if they came up to me and
Okay.
wanted. I would do it until my fingers bled. Summer of '69.
Agreed.
But because I know that.
But you would hate it later.
Because it's fleeting.
But
probably.
I also, but yeah, my window is incredibly short,
right.
and they're paying the bills, and they have come, and they have some of these people, that is a month's worth of their salary.
Yes.
They have put time into this, and oh my God, I have put, I make $2,000 a month. I brought all of it here to give it to you so you would touch me.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to touch you now. I have to give you the best selfie I've ever given anybody
Yep.
because it meant so much to you. That it's hard to overcome that for me.
It
That
would
that
be.
sense of
It would- I'm the same- I'd be the
obligation
same.
is incredibly hard
Yeah.
for me. I would not be able to overcome it
I would be Taylor Swift 7 hours later.
Yep.
for
Dying.
sure.
I'd be inviting people to dinner table.
Right.
Sit down. Let's.
Like, no,
Seriously.
I'm really tired. Do y'all just want to come to dinner?
I mean, seriously.
I just want ice cream. Can y'all want to just? I'll pay.
I don't know if you've. And
But for every one of those people, there's also the other person who didn't. It wasn't that important, but they still just think they need to tell you how to handle your career and your life.
right.
And those people, I would just, F off.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I can't help you. Yeah.
I
little
don't
bit
know.
both
I
of
don't
that.
know if I'd be a celebrity that would subject myself to social media.
Well, you wouldn't have to necessarily subject yourself to social interaction either. If
Yeah, you
To a
wouldn't,
certain
but
degree, you'd
it
probably
depends how good you are. Depends
we'd
what
probably
you're.
be three celebrities that stayed home a whole lot, or
Yeah, I'd have no problem.
minimize that. Yeah, me neither.
With that. He would, big time.
You're like, I got to go to the mall. I just got to.
Yeah, I like to get out of the house. I don't
No,
like
that's
to.
all good.
And not me.
I don't like to just sit around. I get antsy.
Well, you could be out doing some yard work or whatever, and hey, it's Pete. Check him out.
No doubt.
Can I get an autograph? Hang
my
on, let me
God.
take off my yard gloves. And
Paparazzi would love you while he's out
right.
in his yard. They'd have all kinds of. They'd be like, "Take your shirt off."
I saw that edging when I walked. It was nice, clean.
I pay for that.
They came today. Yeah.
Looks good.
I pay for that.
Oh, that's okay. You didn't have to say that. You're like, damn straight. See that shit?
Damn straight it does. Yeah, we live in Florida. Let's qualify why we pay for that.
Right.
It's effing hot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Doing yard work.
I don't even know how to say that. Yard work is overrated.
No, there are some people who actually like yard work, but when they come to Florida,
in my world, yard work is overrated.
No, I'm with you.
There's
I agree.
so many things that I'd rather be doing. Just me. I mean, hey, if somebody gets off on pushing a lawnmower, more power to them. Stress relief, whatever it is.
No, yeah, I know. There's
Or getting the
people that
lines
like it.
right, and they're,
But
cool.
I've actually talked to people who've moved here from other places where they were like, "Oh, I love to do yard work and blah." But now, I live here. I pay somebody to do it. Yeah. Oh, what
No
happened
doubt.
to loving yard work?
I want to survive
It's
the day.
107, and I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what we've come down to is we're not necessarily interested in being overly famous. I wouldn't mind being sort of famous, but
That's
not
what I'm saying,
overly
yeah.
famous. I wouldn't mind being.
Oh, you're gonna get yourself in trouble now.
I wouldn't mind being Jared Padalecki famous. I mean, he's not Tom Cruise famous.
Who?
We're just talking about Stranger or not Supernatural. We were
See?
talking Supernatural.
You just lost me coming up to you because I wouldn't know who you were.
Exactly. I wouldn't mind being that level.
Yeah, so he can.
But believe me, he's still
he
getting
can still
paid.
go out, but he's
Still getting
well.
paid $2,000 to hug a girl
Right,
coming
right.
in, which is
Kissing babies and
But
whatever you
but
need
he's
to do.
not, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt famous.
would be a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure there's perks. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
there's give and take to all of that. I don't know. I personally don't care to find out. I'm good. I always say that. I must be the most boring person ever.
sounds like it.
I come off on these things like so boring. I'm always like, oh, I don't want to do that, and I wouldn't care to do that. What do you do, Christina? Not sit on the couch?
I sit here.
Yeah, but if you're enjoying yourself, what does it matter?
That's what we're all talking about. That's what it's all about, Christina. Are you enjoying yourself?
Can I get famous for just chilling on my couch?
People have.
You'd probably have to hang a camera.
He-
You'd probably have to hang a camera in the front room, but
he
you could
thinks
probably do it.
I could get famous just with the show.
Why wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Maybe you could critique, be a movie or like a TV critic or something,
But see, I don't watch TV.
or Netflix, whatever you do.
No, I
thought you did.
She colors.
I thought you.
I color.
Color send.
She's coloring
You remember
books.
when you were kids? You had that little pirate guy. You draw this and send it in.
Yeah,
There you go.
For the art school.
That's
That
it.
was an
All
art
right.
school.
but I don't draw. I
Wasn't
color.
it a turtle pirate or something?
Yeah, it was an art school test. Yeah.
No, I even said that the other day because I bought this book and it's like you have to doodle in it and draw, and I was like, well, oh my god, I don't know how to draw. I just want to fill things in.
Hey, whatever. That is way higher on my list than mowing the yard. I promise you that.
You would rather color.
Absolutely.
So I think that what we have established here today. I mean, I just tried to start with some things that.
Sorry.
He started with a
Dennis
really
and I
great.
can't be in the same room.
He started with a really great question,
Yeah,
and
I tried.
We kind of blew it.
Yeah, but once
Sorry.
But honestly, I didn't get your motivation for that question because you know me. And
I
you
was
know
talking to Dennis
us.
in this case.
But he was
He's very similar.
he did tell us though that he wasn't necessarily talking about celebrity deaths.
Okay.
He was talking about
Well, then
things.
yes,
Yeah,
I've
just
had
things
plenty
in
of
general.
deaths
How
that
about this one? How about the Oklahoma City bombing? That was a terrible afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I remember where I was. I mean, it was a terrible period in time, but I remember that afternoon just being mind blown.
Right.
I mean, it's similar to the 9/11 thing, not on a much smaller scale, but I think that's what you were kind of asking for.
9/11 was so crazy. Like that was like a blur. Like I physically can still feel the way. Like if I think about it, I can feel the way I felt. It was completely different.
All right, I pose a question about 9/11. How long did you guys pretty much watch TV straight when you weren't working or doing what you had to do? Literally.
We watched it the whole night. Like I don't. Did we even
No,
go
I'm
to
not
bed?
talking about the night. I
Oh.
think I watched TV for 2 weeks straight.
Well, we watched,
Like when I
yeah.
wasn't at work, or I mean,
Right.
I was just like, what did they find today? What's going
Right.
on?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And once I got watching for I just couldn't stop watching it. It was like,
Well, and what's worse is when you're watching it every anniversary too. They go through the whole
Yep.
those whole same things again. I mean, it's almost gotten to the point where it's to make it completely inappropriate. It's almost like every Halloween, the Charlie Brown Halloween comes on, and you watch it every year. You've seen it 100 times. You watch it
Right,
again.
right.
The Charlie Brown Christmas comes on. You watch it every
It's
year.
true.
yeah,
It's a
but I don't get
morbid-
the same feeling.
You don't get the same
No,
feeling,
no,
but
not
it's the
at all.
same thing. That day
Yep.
comes up and they throw those exact same programs on every year, and you watch them again every year. And
It's really
it's
hard to
almost
believe.
It's almost
it's
you're
going to be
punishing
20
yourself.
years. 20 years next year.
Yeah, and you
That's
punish yourself every time
Unbelievable.
by
Yeah.
watching it.
Yep. But
I mean,
in a
and-
way, though, isn't it kind of a good thing as a reminder of
We could definitely use reminders.
Somewhat, because I think we've talked about this a little bit before, either on camera or not camera, but just how united everything felt for
for a couple months.
I don't even know how long, but it just felt like, all right, everybody's got each other's back. You could have gone and knocked on anyone's door and needed anything pretty much, and if they could do it, they would have done it for you.
But imagine how, again, that was before social media. So imagine how
Sort
that
of.
would. No, that was before. We
Was
didn't have. You had big ass phones. There was really
no
no.
MySpace?
There was very little. You had to get on the computer and dial up, and
True,
it was
true.
2001.
That's true.
You didn't have your phone.
Yeah,
You didn't have instant Facebook. Facebook didn't exist.
No.
So you didn't have any of that stuff that you could just immediately throw your shitty comments out and start
Thank
and
God.
victim shame or start going back and forth.
Yeah.
Imagine how that would have gone crazy if it had happened today. If it happens now with the amount of social media that we have right now, think about how they reacted with Parkland or even Newtown. It still had
Sandy Hook.
That's what I meant. Sandy Hook.
The Las Vegas.
Right, the Las Vegas shooter. Kind of the things that went down on social media during that. I can't even imagine what something like that would have been.
Speaking of Las Vegas, that's a good because it's in our kind of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about like Jason Aldean going back on stage after something like that happens? What do you think?
Just in general going back on stage, or going back on stage that night?
No, he didn't. I don't think.
No,
he
he didn't go back.
I'm
He
talking
ran
about
off the stage.
Yeah. I mean, the next time he had to go on stage, or could you go back on the stage, or how do you feel about that? I mean,
well, that's kind of a great question. Is it? This starts to make
because
you
we
kind
know.
of think
I
about,
know that he does. He
for
tours
sure.
still.
Yeah, he's
well,
still
and
out.
Poor Ariana Grande.
Same thing. They both managed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what they do.
She
and-
was a little. I mean, it was hard for her for a while, and
It probably
she was
still is.
young.
But can you not imagine, like, every night before you go out, not having something like that run through your mind just before? I mean,
I'm sure it does.
does it not have to? I mean,
Well, I think everybody has some
Well-
level of PTSD. It's a PTSD thing. I mean,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine Reagan, the first time Reagan had to go back out and show his face after he'd just been shot.
Right.
Yeah, you're a target, and I can't imagine. I'm glad I haven't had to be in that situation where I have had to worry about it. I've never been in a situation that I thought
you were in
that was
danger.
that was imminent life and death. Honestly, never. So I don't know. I mean, you'd like to think that, oh yeah, you'd buck up and go back out the next night and play again. I don't know that that's the case. A moment like that may say to me, this shit isn't worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about this. This is not that important.
Well, I
Doesn't
mean,
mean-
that
doesn't-
happened here in Jacksonville at that pizza place. Kid went in and was it a kid that went in and shoot stuff up at the landing?
Oh, that was a game.
It was a
It
game.
was a gamer thing. Yeah.
gamer
a gamer.
thing. Yeah,
Yep.
so I'm just saying, like, what if you?
He was one of the gamers. He was one of the kids that
But
were
wasn't
playing
he? Didn't
games.
he? Didn't it turn out that he had a specific target, or no? Am I
I
missing-
think so, but he was one of the kids that was in the tournament.
Yeah.
And he lost, and he got
And
pissed, and he
yep.
came back with a gun. So it wasn't he was just randomly
But
targeting.
I'm just saying that. I mean, that even happens on like a local level.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
guys could be playing
Absolutely.
in a bar, and that
For
could
sure.
happen. Somebody's in there with somebody else's.
And I'll tell you right now, if that
and-
happens to me in a bar, there's a pretty good chance that I may not play anymore. If I'm just in a bar,
Yeah.
I'm not Jason Aldean. Jason Aldean that's his profession. That's
Yeah,
what he does for a living. He makes a great living doing it. It's a hobby for me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
So
hobby
you-
is not worth my life. My kids are worth more than my hobby. Period. I'll find a new hobby. I'll just make more podcasts. Hopefully I'm not getting. Well, of course, Dennis did mention a bus driving through my damn window the last time we all
Hey,
talked
man,
together.
Maybe I
It's
was
true.
just saying.
Right here in
maybe
the
if
back
it's-
through the
If
pool.
it's your
Right.
I think he said he was in bed though, so it would be on the wherever you guys.
If it's
Our
your
bed's
time.
right there,
All right.
so
Oh,
it'd
okay.
still be
Yeah,
through
same
the pool.
wall. Okay, yeah.
If it's your time, it's your time.
Hey man, maybe I don't know. I don't know that,
But yeah, I have a hard
there are
time.
But
I have a hard time believing that I would keep playing. I'll be honest.
has it ever gone anything like that ever gone through your mind where you're performing anything close to that or anything something?
Not me.
Me. I watch you guys like a hawk. I watch everybody that comes in the door. I'm always skeptical of
Really?
that shit. I always think somebody's gonna pull a weapon. I don't know why. I don't
know that I've ever thought about like being shot, but I do every once in a while. You'll get somebody like
Yeah.
kind of strange that kind of crosses your eye line. You're like, what?
Yeah, and you keep an eye on that person.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally, yeah, because I think about that honestly all the time, that you're going to be in a bar and there's going to be some angry husband comes in whose wife's in there with somebody else and shoots up the place or something ridiculous, because people are so ridiculous nowadays.
Yeah, but the good news is we're not. All of us are totally sober.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
we have
understand
that.
that,
We
but-
have that. We have that in our
But
favor.
you're also into your music too.
No, I'm just saying that if some guy came in
Oh, just shoot.
to a bar because he thinks you're messing with his wife or something, you're like, wait a minute.
No.
I'm totally sober. If he gives you the chance.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
what
have
I'm
to
saying.
do
What
it. You
if
don't have
you-
to do a "Give Me 3 Steps" by Leonard Skinner.
No, I've never had that issue.
Really, you
to
don't
this
think
point.
about that?
No, I've always, my entire life, every room I ever walk
That's
into,
what okay.
I always threat assess everything. But while I'm playing, I've never had a situation while I was playing that I thought, "Ooh, this could be potentially bad." Never.
Oh, except last Iggy's.
My old band, we had a brawl breakup.
They've had a brawl breakout.
Well, we had a brawl, but I wasn't involved in it. I was just
No, I
You had
know.
to push people
I
off
know,
of
but the thing
your
is, if it gets
equipment.
close to you, I mean, you could
yeah.
be involved without being involved.
Well-
Kind of.
Well, no, I guess in that case I was involved. I was literally pushing them back. Just get back in the damn bar and fight. Just don't
Right, right.
fight over here where
Not
next to all the
here.
equipment.
Yeah.
I was pushing them away.
Kind of like
during a song, or did you have to stop?
It was
or?
right after we'd stopped. Right after
okay.
we'd stopped playing, and yeah, the group just started coming
Guess what
towards
bar?
us.
Monkeys.
You'll be
Yep.
there.
How did you know?
I'll tell you.
You'll be there.
I'll tell you a monkey story.
But-
the old monkeys. No, I'm not going to tell it on here.
But they, but yeah, no, that just the bros were all in a good little group, and they were just pushing each other around. It was a rugby match, and I just kind of kept pushing them back,
Right.
towards
Fight
the
breaks
bar.
out in that
Let them
bar
fight.
every night.
So but I've never had that issue. But I think if it had happened to me as a hobby, yeah, I don't know. I would have to reassess the hobby.
Yeah.
Quite honestly,
That's good to know.
yeah, it's not that important. It really isn't that important.
Yeah.
Which would have been no different than any other. Hell, if it happened to me at work, I may not go back to the job.
Oh, really?
Not to that job.
So,
if
hey,
something
man,
like that happens, I may
yeah.
not go back to that job. I'll find a new job.
Maybe one working from home.
Yeah. Well, you just find things. You find what.
We're short of a school bus coming through your window. You're pretty safe.
Right. Well, you reassess, man, and that's another issue. That's kind of another point that I wanted to make. Another point that I wanted to make about this whole thing. Does anything like that make you kind of reassess what you're doing and what your life is? Now, and there was just kind of another finger off of Kobe or off of anybody that's died unexpectedly. That your time is fleeting. We've had this discussion. Yeah. It could happen tomorrow. It's gone. Does it help you reassess or make you reassess or bring anything back into focus? I know it doesn't with you.
For me, I can tell you this. Here's what normally happens for me. Short term.
Very short term.
No, it can be different depending on what it is. It may affect me for 2 days. It may affect me for a month. With what I do, I might change things that I do, but I think I'm kind of just like a creature of habit mostly. I'm going to end up.
Yeah, I think most people
doing what I've done.
Most people do the same thing. They don't even realize how they got there.
Yeah.
I got to work today. Don't realize how I got here. I don't remember making turns.
I think I heard Steve Miller.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember how it happened. That's what
you just kind of get an autopilot and just.
I'll come home and she's like, "You didn't leave any gas in my van." I was like, "I didn't notice it was empty. I'm not paying attention."
Does that all the time.
I'm not paying attention.
Ladies,
when you're
does that happen to you all the time? Does your husband use your car and leave no gas in it? Shoot me an email.
Paul, yeah,
you can reach me at
you can reach me at Prove Me Wrong podcast. We have things to talk about.
/ Christina.
Yeah, right. Special memo.
That's right.
Christina from the podcast. Yeah, you can start making your own topics at some point. You can have a spin-off.
Put in the subject line, pissed about the E.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. What was that spin-off? Archie Bunker, the spin-off of Archie Bunker.
Archie Bunker's Place.
Archie Bunker's Place.
Yeah,
all in the family in Archie Bunker's Place.
Yeah.
You'll be the spin-off to
Yeah.
the Prove Me Wrong podcast. That's good.
Me and my ladies will talk.
That's right.
Well, other than Christina bringing up some additional topics for the next time, what are your thoughts out there? Anybody have any thoughts about, or I would like to actually talk to somebody who maybe is a little bit more affected by some of these people. Maybe they look up to them, emulate them a little bit more than obviously we do. It is what it is. I guess the world has all kinds, and
I don't begrudge people that do that either.
Right, but far be it from me to ever say that somebody shouldn't be important to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with
if you find that Paul McCartney is incredibly important to you, and the day that Paul McCartney passes is the worst day of your life, it could. Hey,
and I'm sure it's going to be a lot for a lot of people.
Absolutely, there's going to be a lot of people who feel that way. Nobody should tell you that's wrong to feel like that. It's just maybe not the way that we feel or I feel.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, what do you think about it? Was there a time or a person or a situation that occurred to you that really changed your life, made you rethink what you were doing, it made you hug the kids a little bit longer, right? That's what we've been hearing. Hug the kids a little longer than normal. You can let us know. Drop us a line, provemewrongcast@gmail.com. That's our email address. You can find us on Facebook, our Instagram. It's just Prove Me Wrong. You can search for either one of those platforms. You'll find us there. If you want to find more of the podcast itself you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, really any platform that has podcasts, you can find Prove Me Wrong Podcast. And also we're on YouTube. That's where you're watching right now. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube. That's right. There's a line right here. It says like and subscribe to the podcast. You can do that on YouTube, and you will be the first one to be notified when new and exciting content like this one drops. Because because it's all about dropping. So, so drop us a line. Let us know if there are topics that you actually like. Let us know. We'll talk about it. Dennis, damn near talk about anything.
He will.
Not even know it. Not
right.
even know I did it.
He'll start there at least, but then he'll weave.
Yep.
He'll weave his way. He'll find something.
Right.
Whatever.
I'm the Barry Sanders of conversation.
Yeah, he'll have 52 conversations that get him -1 yard, but that one he goes for 90.
That's right. You just never know. I was just thinking of it. You never know where I'm going to go.
That too.
But yeah,
that too. He'll get you turned around.
They'll do it.
Like Barry.
But I pre-warned you, so it's fair.
No, I appreciate it.
I like it. It's fun.
That's right. So once again, this episode of the Prove Me Wrong podcast has been brought to you by ZendoZones citronella burners from JT Eaton. They are shaped like fearless little tiki gods. So let Luau Lily, Surf and Stan, and Hawaiian Howie bring the islands to your backyard with ZendoZone citronella burners. They use 3% citronella candles and incense cones, perfect for patios, decks, backyards, campsites, poolsides, and more. You can enjoy the outdoors again. They are available online at Amazon and on Ace Hardware. And I'm trying to get this whole Tell them Prove Me Wrong podcast sent you. I'm trying to get that discount working. It probably won't, but
you can try.
Give it a try. Say, hey, Prove Me Wrong podcast sent me here. Maybe that gets you something.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe it just gets you a smile and a fuck off. I don't know, but it'll
Maybe
get you something.
A free burner.
It might get you
Pete
a free
would like you to prove him wrong.
citronella candle or incense cone. It might. You might get a Surf and Stan. I would take it. You can paint those, by the way. They're neat little pottery. It's pretty cool.
Or if you're Christina, you can color them
with magic markers.
Markers. Is that your weapon
Or
of
gel
choice?
pens.
Gel pen.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Lately I've been working in pencils. Colored pencils.
Her medium has changed.
Oh my God, this is embarrassing.
It
Why?
is. We've learned a lot about you tonight.
Adults shouldn't color.
I think that's
No.
bullshit. I think that's
See,
total trash.
Yeah.
You-
Everybody has hobbies. Some people play solitaire. Some people color. Some people play video
Well,
games.
I mean, I would have other hobbies, but I kind of hate spending money, and coloring's cheap. Like I like what your mom does, like making cards and stuff. But she spends so much money.
What does
on
she?
that
She
stuff.
makes what?
Makes cards.
She makes like greeting cards.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, and that's always fun to do when I go to her house.
I
but
thought you said she makes cars. I was like, damn. Right? That does sound expensive.
she could. I'm sure she could.
Hey, man.
She probably has some skills.
She does.
We just don't know about them yet. No.
Yeah, any
agreed.
lady that can throw a lit cigarette out a window and through another one into your lap, that's skills.
That's skills.
That was just unintended
I
excellence. She couldn't help it.
That or was it child abuse?
Probably a little
I just
both.
triggered somebody.
Whoa.
Probably his
You're
mom.
you're gonna get emails.
No, from her to you. That's
Yeah.
all. That's all we're getting.
You're in trouble, Dennis.
No, we are Facebook friends. No, I did not mean that. I know that you were not trying to
I'm
harm your
sorry,
child.
Teresa.
Not intentionally.
I know you gave him 5150.
She did, and she doesn't even remember it.
What?
No big deal to her.
Oh, yeah.
You heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It was much more impactful to me later than it was to her ever.
That's right.
She just thought, whatever. Sometimes you hit home runs. Sometimes you buy gifts that you think are going to be home runs and they're not. And sometimes you buy the $5 knockoff thing and it ends up being the gift of the year. You never can tell.
That's it.
So she wrote me off pretty quickly. But all right. Well, thanks again, everybody. Once again for my buddy Dennis and for Christina from the podcast. This is Pete Lieb. This is the Prove Me Wrong podcast. We'll talk to you again soon. See ya.